in their minds. Do you need a net? Well, keep listening for a biblical understanding of the psychology of the mind.
Hey, 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 great afternoon and welcome. Come on in. Welcome to another wonderful session of Mind, Body, and Soul with us. And I'm your host, Annette Harris. Thank you so much for joining us on this afternoon, for watching and or listening. Hey, of course, you know what I have to do. Lord, I thank you for this wonderful day. Beautiful, bright sunshine. We appreciate even the heat, oh God. We ask that you would get the glory out of today's session and whatever we go to do and say. In Jesus' name we pray. And our opening scripture is the first part of Hosea 4 and 6. And it states, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee." And again, we are grateful to be here on this afternoon. We needed that little prayer and that little script before we hop into what we're going to talk about on today.
Yes, Lord.
They started already. Y'all. They have started
I
already.
I'm going to be good.
You're going to be good.
Mhm.
She's going to be good. She's going to be good. Hey guys, thank you. If you're coming into my live feed, please like and share if you would not mind. Go ahead, like and share, and then we can let everybody else know that we're on today. There are a lot of things going on today, especially around social media. So why don't you throw us into the bunch? I always tell you it costs you nothing to like and share. Absolutely nothing. Just go ahead and hit that button. Have you subscribed to my YouTube channel? You can go there and watch us as well. Go to YouTube, type in MBSWANET, Get Caught in a Net. We want you to get caught in a net too. Come on, why don't you join us on today? Also, we're on the station's website, intellectualradio.com. You can hear us there. And I am excited today, as I always am every week, that I come on to have individuals come in and be with me as my guest. So don't mind that noise. Hey, I am joined by two wonderful, beautiful. Aren't they beautiful? Look to my right. They're so gorgeous.
So good. Don't you agree?
To my far right is Lady Angie Mims. And I have always told you all that she is my one of my mentors, my radio broadcasting mentors. She's the female version of it. You all heard about the other guy. We won't mention him today. But Angie Mims, I first met her, oh God, it's probably been about a good 6, 7
Yep.
years.
7 years, 2013. Let's see, 2013.
13?
6 years.
6 years?
Mhm.
Okay. I was right, roughly around there.
Mhm.
And when I met her, she was at the mic doing her show. She was Promoting Precision was the name of that show.
Mhm.
And I was impressed with her and the title of her show, Promoting Precision. And it is what it is what it says, rather. And she promotes individuals, or, at the time, and she just really encourages you. And when I first met her, she was trying to get me on the mic. And I'm like, no way, I am not interested in that. And here I am almost 6 years later.
Absolutely.
In front of a mic. So she encouraged me. And when I started my show, I, drug her in, a few shows. I said, you got to come on here with me. You got to hold my hand. And she did that. And I'm so appreciative of her. Angie Mims is in the house. How are you on this afternoon?
Doing great.
Doing great?
I'm glad to be here. I
I'm
think
glad.
you've done an excellent job with your endurance. I call her the Oprah of radio now. She knows that Janice knows I'm not lying. I call her the Oprah of radio. You've done an excellent job with being able to unfold so many different topics under the umbrella of psychology. You've done a great job.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I do. That means a lot coming from you. You just don't know. You just don't know. So I kind of follow her footsteps. Angie she's got her hands in everything. She's all over the place. She's an educator. And so she's out for the summer. So I grabbed her today. But she does so many things. And we're going to talk about that on today. And then, of course, to my immediate right is our other good friend here, Janice Jackson. Miss Jackson, I'm sorry.
If you're sanctified.
Yeah, there you go.
I felt it in my shondo.
You got something in your shondo. You need us to help you get it out. Okay. She's on Facebook as Janice John. That's who she is. And she's here on this afternoon. And I'm so glad that these two individuals have joined me on today. I actually had a guest scheduled for today. Unfortunately, they had to cancel. And I was in my inbox. We have our own little inbox, going, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, What are y'all doing Wednesday? Now, Janice normally, well, she has these crazy hours. Okay. So I said to Angie first, I was like, I'm thinking to myself, I know you're out of school. So what you doing Wednesday? She said, that's exactly what she said at 1st. And then I told her what I was trying to do. And she was like, okay. I was like, Jan, are you off? She was like, very slowly typed back. As a matter of fact, I am. Yep. So I said, okay, I'm going to pull you ladies in if you would not mind. And we started talking about what we were going to talk about. And we're talking about today friendships and relationships. And of course, it's appropriate, I think, to have the two of them on to talk about this subject. And, I started this off with that story because friends would do that for you. They're coming in a pinch. That's right. That's very true. They're coming in a pinch. And this is what these young ladies have done for me on today. And I'm excited and glad that they have consented to come. So I put out a post, ladies.
I know.
And I actually posted it in various groups. Okay. And I think you all only saw probably one post. Right. The other post has been blowing up and constantly, like even well into the evening.
Really? Wow.
And I'm looking at them, they're still answering.
Yeah, because it's Oprah. Go ahead.
Oh, you know what?
Keep going.
Oh my goodness, look at you.
Okay.
All right. We got the lights on us now, guys. Okay. So yeah, I wanted to kind of piggyback off of a few of those comments.
Okay, I'll go to your page quickly.
If you wouldn't mind going there, because I'm also going to. Are you in the one group I was talking about?
I'm not sure.
Okay. I was going to ask you to pull that one up, but I'll try to pull that up. So yeah, this is actually, this is hot. First of all, let me start with this as we're pulling those up. Ange.
Yeah, babe.
Why don't you tell us?
Oh boy.
Maybe your initial thoughts on this particular topic. I don't know which one you want to talk about, whether friendships or relationships. Kind of give us a little bit of G.
Okay. Well, I want to read the question first.
Okay.
The question you posed was, do you ever feel like you aren't even friends with some of your friends? I repeat, do you ever feel like you aren't even friends with some of your friends? Yes. Yes and no. I did respond to the post. Yes. I said yes because, you can genuinely have a rapport with someone, know how to converse, have somewhat of a decent conversation, and yet still not consider them a friend. And so I am an avid believer of discernment and the type of energy someone gives out. And so I have been around scores and scores and hundreds of people, and they're overall aesthetically good people, but I don't feel that genuine friendliness. So yes and no.
So yes and no. I want to ask something in addition to that, but let me get Jan's thoughts.
You know what? For me, I would just say, what's the question? If I can consider you, I'm sorry, read the question.
The question is, do you ever feel like you aren't even friends with some of your friends?
No, I can't say that. Might have been some issues I might have had with a friend, and you might have fallen out or something like that. But at the end of the day, you still are friends. Because I guess really depending on what the situation is, you will eventually make back up or whatever the case is, and then begin to be friends. If it's someone that you could be an associate or someone you might be cool with, but I wouldn't consider that as like a friend. So for me, I would say no, because if you're a friend regardless.
Okay,
that's my take on it.
Well, how about we back up and ask about the definition of a friend?
Excellent.
How many of us have them? No.
Well, yeah, I think that's a good segue to defining, what this friendship would actually look like. A friend for me is someone who could handle me on both spectrums of my life. I found that most people are drawn to you because of your strengths.
That's true.
And they look to you to provide them with that strength in an ongoing way. And so, the friendship, air quotes, will sometimes change or become diluted when your weakness is exposed, when you become
Yeah.
vulnerable, when you do something that they don't like, when you say something that they don't like. And so now it's just like, oh, the whole dynamic has changed. And then you're left to feel like, wait a minute, I thought you were my friend.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Yeah.
So
Yeah. So I mean,
friendship is something that, for me, you would be called my friend if I know that you can handle all sides of me.
Okay. So all sides. First, you said both spectrums. I'm like, Angie, I know you got more than two spectrums.
I do. That's why I struggle.
No, you're well rounded. You have so well, you wear so many hats. We'll get into that later. But Jan, what were we going to say?
Well, I don't know. I kind of lost my train of thought. I
Oh,
mean,
I think it's
it's
you
like
off, I'm sorry.
because this is a good,
I'm
topic, and
sorry.
it's a
Sorry,
good
friend.
conversation, and I know the other part about talking. Well, the other piece is relationships, and the when I think of relationship, and friendship, it's like, what is my relationship with you as a friend? Sometimes when you think about relationships, you automatically think about, you know, intimate relationships or
Mhm.
companion relationships or whatever. But what type of relationship do I have with my friend that can have allow us to have a friendship? You know what I'm saying? Because some people, you can't, even though they might be your friends, your relationship with one might be different than another.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's true. And we can also probably all agree there are different levels of
Absolutely.
friendship. So I don't know that question. I mean, I pulled that one out. There was another one too. I think I have to pull that out to read it. But it's interesting because I mean, I guess maybe I'll get my thoughts on it.
Yeah.
So
This is the red table talk with a black tablecloth.
right.
Sorry, go ahead, honey.
I can't with her. Well, okay, and then I have on red, right?
Hello.
Okay. All right. So yeah. So friends, I think sometimes people use that term loosely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Like sis and bro.
Yeah.
Right. Now I use those terms. I do. and then sometimes some people I'll use that term with, and I know what I mean with that particular person or that particular person.
Mhm.
You understand what I'm trying to say? So this one over here, guy A, and guy B, when I say it to guy A, I know in what terms I mean it. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Um, I have a very good friend of mine. Um, I call him bro. I call him whatever, and he's probably one we can sit on the phone. We can just chit chat. He's like a really good, brother, friend to me.
Mm-hmm.
And we laugh sometimes on the phone. We're like, oh God, we'll just say anything to each other, whatever. But if you say it to somebody else,
It won't be received.
it won't be received
Right.
well. And they were like, why are you saying it to me? Or really? Are you really?
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know. I just there are different meanings behind, like for me, for Annette, when I use bro and
Sure.
sis.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or sissy or something like that,
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it just kind of depends. I think the other day we kind of got hung up on the terminology in one of the posts. Someone was saying it wasn't necessarily the terminology that they were focused on. I guess it's just the actual, context of the relationship,
Right.
that they were looking at.
Yeah.
Were you going to say
Oh
something?
no, I was just agreeing.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
but that's true though, because even some friends, you don't even have to talk to them all the time.
True.
But then when you come back, it's as if you never parted. Or I'll just use Angie for example. We don't talk all the time, but Angie is one of those friends. Well, technically we do.
Well, yeah, in the inbox.
Yeah, but she, when you ask the question, the definition of a real friend, I can say she's a real friend because your real friends pray for you.
But you start getting emotional because there's tissue behind you.
Who, me?
Yeah, I
No,
can.
I'm not getting
Oh, okay.
emotional. You know, I'm just a
I
little
thought you were
nervous because
go.
I ain't been
Okay.
on a
She ain't been on the
yeah,
air in a
on the
minute.
mic
You're
for a
doing
minute, so I'm
great.
just a little
Janice used
nervous.
to be my co-host, guys, back
Yeah.
at the other station. She was my co-host for a while. She would come in and, Jan, you coming this week? Yeah, I'll be there.
So I
A
mean,
friend. Go ahead.
yeah, I mean, and that's just what you that's what I consider a friend. Somebody who can pray for you, pour into you, speak well into you, and just encourage you, and just be there for you no matter what, even if you don't talk to each other all of the time, or even when you're wrong. If they see something that you shouldn't be, that you should not do, they can call you up and say, "Hey, girl, you need to slow your road or do this, or why are you doing this?" Somebody who can check you or put you in your
Yeah.
place, and it's out of
Yes.
love, and it's genuine.
That's right. That's
And you
right.
That's
and you
what.
can receive it from them
Yeah, absolutely.
because you know that they have your best interest at heart.
Mhm.
They're
Right.
not doing or
Yeah.
saying what they're saying to you for in malice
Right,
or to try and tear
absolutely.
you down or
Yeah,
anything like
absolutely.
that.
Who had the
Uh,
best interest?
yeah.
This girl even threatened me once. She threatened me.
We already there. Here we go.
Sorry, so
Raw
that's my
talk real.
friend. We can talk like this because we all are friends.
Yes.
But I don't want to jump subject. But I had a cyst or something on my arm one day, and it was just like so painful. And I was like, I'm just gonna wait for it to go down. This girl
I
threatened
remember
me.
that she did. She sure did. I'm
Like,
a
if you
witness.
don't take your butt to the
And then I think I called the hospital,
yeah,
didn't
she
I?
called the hospital and was like, my sister in there, y'all. But see, that's what real friends do.
No, I said my daughter
Oh.
because I was concerned about, I had to be able to.
Get the information you wanted to. So
I'm not proud of that.
No, but
just
you know
for
what?
the
That's
record.
right,
I
right,
mean, but
right.
that's what real friends do, and I really appreciate that because some
Mhm.
people who are or quote unquote supposed to be your friends, they don't care about you like
That's true.
that. They don't care about your well being or your health or whatever. They just glad it's not them.
Right.
But
Right.
when you
Yeah.
you have people, who is there for you, I think the Bible talks about weeping when others weep,
Right.
happy, be rejoice. I'm getting my tongue
Oh no,
twisted,
you're
but
right.
rejoice when they
Evangelist
rejoice.
missionary, you got it.
I
That's
know.
Angie's job. That's you and Angie.
No.
But
She got the
when
paper.
somebody can, be upset with you, and when you're going through tough times or whatever, who can empathize with you, or even if they necessarily been through what you're going through, kind of, put themselves in your situation, that's what friends really do.
That's what they do.
That's what friends are.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
let me look here on Facebook Live. Wanda
Okay.
B is watching. Janine, how are you, cousin? Granny
Okay.
D is on. Brandy McCord, she says, hey there, ladies. Brandy also said, real friends pray for you. You could shut it down with that quote.
Yeah.
I agree. Siobhan is on, and Buddy Gill says, well, look at here. Hello, ladies. Hello,
See what
Buddy.
Buddy's
Thanks for
saying.
watching our good friend, Buddy.
Hey, buddy.
But yeah, this is I'm enjoying this so far because this is very important.
Mhm.
Oh, Siobhan, hello, newlywed. How are you?
Oh,
That's right,
my
right. Your
niece.
niece, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Congratulations again to you and Mr. Smith. All
Hey,
right.
Brandy.
So yeah, I think a conversation like this definitely needs to be had.
Mhm.
It needs to be discussed. Sometimes on a regular basis.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I just wanted to add though, one of the interesting components, because I'm really trying to maintain and keep my robustness down because this is something that is very passionate to me. I feel I made that up. You go with it. But I feel very passionate about it. I've made some very severe mistakes in the past,
Yeah.
thinking that someone was my friend and they weren't. And there are two sides to that. Because oftentimes we find ourselves always pointing the finger
Mhm.
and blaming other people. I know that when I was done wrong in a friendship, the way that I handled it wasn't right.
Okay.
And so when I felt wrong, two wrongs don't make it right. And so the way that I
Amen.
handled it
Amen.
wasn't right. And I think that that's one of the other elements that we kind of forget to mention. We don't do self-assessments. The Bible tells us to examine ourselves.
That's right.
And so one of the things that I noticed with a dear friend of mine, that I enjoy fellowshipping with my African community.
Yes, she does. She's the ambassador. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But one of my past close friends, as I explained to you all during the lunch, we ended up having to part ways by my dissolve. Long story short, just felt like it wasn't working both ways. I supported almost 90, if not 100% of what it is that you do and had done. But you all fundamentally, I'm a church girl. I love the Lord. I want to be able to, feel like I can have your support in that
That's
as
right.
well.
Yeah.
And so we would get outfits made together. We would go to these African
Oh.
seamstress. I mean, we would do everything together. But then when it would come time for me to invite them to my church functions, it was always an excuse or it was always a deep sigh.
One-sided.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm like, now wait a minute, and so,
She
this
looked like
is
her mother when she said that.
and so I would just feel like, I am literally supporting most, if not all, that you do. We talk on the phone, our kids play together. We have what I thought was a good bond, but now when it's time for it to be my turn twice a year, you have to hesitate. You have to, and so the way that I handled that, because we have a mutual friend, they want us to come back together, and we went out to dinner not long ago, and he was just like, Angie, maybe you didn't do such a good job of trying to bring that back together. But he was a friend and he told me that.
Mhm.
And I could take that. I could take that. But I just feel like, friendships should not be one sided. They should not be one
Amen.
sided. And the way that you handle tension should be handled with love. The way that I handled it, you know, probably for most wouldn't be seen as love. It wouldn't be seen as love because I put a hard end to that. Like, I gave you a warning.
Wow, and you were
That's
done.
all.
That's it.
And so, yeah, so, thinking back, but I felt like I had talked about it with you already. So then I would
Mhm.
need help with that. Like, I heard his point of view in regards to, well, you probably could have done more, but then that was just his point of view. So what do you think? You think I could have handled that better? Because I've already told you how I felt
Right.
about this. And in the moment, you agreed.
Well, I guess you probably can look at it like this. Well, everybody's tolerance level is different.
Mhm.
Okay,
Amen.
so obviously you have zero tolerance policy. No, I'm just kidding. And it was just,
True.
you were at the point. Okay, we've talked about this. Or like you do with Junior. I told you this once. You didn't do it, so now I'm gonna knock you down the steps. That's not what she
Now I
said.
got to call the people.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You told him once or whatever, and it was something that you feel that it was definitely important to you, to express how you were feeling, and you were thinking, if you're my friend, this should be important to you as
That's
well.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yet
Yeah.
you're not doing anything about it.
Right. Yes.
So am I fueling you? Am I fueling you?
Yes.
I think I'm fueling you.
Yes.
But of course, there's a way to handle things. Well, you know me, I probably wouldn't have done it like that.
I know you wouldn't have, but I want to
But
hear.
that's what we're talking about with the tolerance levels,
But
or
I'm
how
willing.
you.
But I'm willing to reevaluate because the Bible says we need to examine ourselves
Mhm.
Right.
and we need to do things gracefully as much as possible. And I put a heart. Actually, to be fair, to be truthful, it was twice. I told you this, and you did. You in the moment you agreed. Yeah, you're right. Blah blah blah.
But it still didn't change.
It didn't really change. And then when you did come, it was just like, hurry up and let this be over. And so I realized the cultures are different. I could tell, because they're Presbyterian, they're Africans. And so I'm able to navigate through that. And so I saw that you aren't. And that's not good for me. It doesn't really work out too well. So if I'm wrong, then I'll readily take that.
Okay, let me ask you a question. So we'll just take the one instance or whatever where you kind of observed that they weren't really comfortable when they finally did come. At that point, did you guys maybe like have a conversation about it?
Not in depth. With certain different cultures, you have to be able to discern the type of conversations that you can have. And that's why I was talking earlier about, being able aesthetically, you can have that what looks like a good friendship. And it did, because we did everything together. But when you ask and post a question, did we talk about that? You know, that was somewhat of it made her feel uneasy,
Mm.
because,
Gotcha.
our church and their church is different. We're very, once again, there's
But
a
you
word.
visited her church though
Yeah, I
plenty of
did.
times.
Yes,
And is it that you was just there more so in support because she was your friend,
absolutely.
and you're looking for the same thing from her back when it comes to?
Difference between, I believe, she and I in this particular instance is that even though I was mostly bored tremendously when I visited the church, um, I was able to chew the meat and spit out the bones when the priest was delivering the message, and so I was like, okay. And so I took it in and I got a message. Whereas when she came, it was more of a, look at all these ghetto black
Lord.
Negroes jumping all over the place. What is going on? What is going on? Oh my goodness.
Wow.
So I was just like, all right, whatever. But afterwards, she fellowshipped with, the people and was very nice and very sweet. But church and God and relationship is very, very important to me.
Absolutely.
Very important to me. So I don't want you to come to something where I don't think that you'll be able to benefit,
Mhm.
and I feel like she didn't benefit, but it's not because good preaching wasn't taking place.
Mm.
There's a lot of things that goes into that. Well, let me ask you, those of you that are listening, how do you think Angie handled that? You want to give your thoughts? You want to give your thoughts and because we're just having again a roundtable discussion. So I want to hear if you would like to share with us your
I'm about to
thoughts
get it.
about how she handled that situation, or how she could go back and maybe do a do over.
Are you still friends with this girl, Angie?
No, I mean, she's right. It was the zero tolerance entered into the equation. Um, I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. I am a hothead when it comes to injustice, which is why, I would do part-time activism, which is why I would speak up when injustices would take
Right.
place. And so that isn't always well received. Now, I'm a lover. I love hard, but I'm also a fair person. And I don't have a lot of tolerance for craziness. Like, come on, this is you should be able to see this. So I could be wrong, because if God looks at us and he still loves us through all of our flaws, and we certainly don't do things the way that he would want us to do, is there something that I need to be working on instead of doing a hard cutoff? Like, look here, I done told you once, I told you twice, 3 times you're out, and that's it, that's all.
Amen.
I don't know.
With you on that.
Because there's a whole lot that can go into that, because whereas a lot of times you may have whether it's disagreements or different ways of looking at various situations. Obviously, the two of you had a different way of looking at each other's um, church services, or whatever you both went to go and support each other in. And it may not have been enjoyable for her. It may not have been enjoyable for you.
It wasn't.
But your
I'm listening. Go ahead, Reverend.
but your both of your responses, of course, are definitely going to yield different results. Okay. You filtered your way through it. You made your way through it while you were there. And probably didn't have that look on your face that
No.
you were bored, but hers shown. But maybe she doesn't know how to not show it. Maybe she was tired that night. Maybe she was sick. Maybe she had her mind on something else. It could be a wide variety of things. That's why I asked the initial question of, did you guys have a conversation afterwards, about it? Maybe not necessarily immediately after, but did that come into play at some point? Because I'm always cognizant of the fact that you're not going to react and act the same way that Annette does,
Right.
To certain things or
Mhm.
situations or whatever. And it could be for a reason
Right.
Mhm.
that I'm just not aware of. So I don't know. I guess I was trying to look at all
Yeah, be fair.
sides
Be
of
fair.
it.
Be
Yeah,
fair.
in the sense
Mhm.
of what it is they're doing. Did either of you want to say anything on that?
No, because I don't want this show to be about my one friendship that I'm still mulling over.
No, I mean, but it is a good example of what we're talking about on today because one of the other questions that I know, do you need to clean up your relationships or your friendships?
Yeah.
Do you need to reassess your friendships? So it's that falls well into the line of both of those questions. And I'm sure, of course, we are just sitting here, and those of you that are listening to us have had to, or have experienced something like this before. Whether you handled it zero tolerance policy, I'm out the door, or you've tried and you've tried.
I've tried twice.
Tried and tried and tried.
That's too many.
Tried. Right. And still with not, that the results weren't good or weren't positive. So at that point, what do you do? Do you walk it back? Do you say, hey, I'm sorry how I handled it, but obviously we're on different pages as far as this is concerned. Maybe we can have a friendship on this level and not.
But who says that? Like, I only like you 50% of the way.
Well,
I don't like, but I mean, I know, of course, I know you mean anything, but that's how I would interpret it. Like, if you have to verbalize, I'm only going to be this much of a friend to you, then I don't need you as a friend.
Well, and then that's where you have to understand and know where your boundaries are with people.
Yeah.
So I guess that's kind of what I'm saying in the sense of, maybe we reevaluate and we see where my boundaries are here.
Yeah.
Don't want to cross this line, Don't knock this off my shoulder.
Well, Amos 3:3 says, how can two walk together unless they agree?
Come on, preach.
I was trying not to go there, because we do have differences. I was drawn to Janice because I feel like she can truly handle my different sides, and Janice has a raw way or an organic way, should I put it? She has an organic way of putting things, which I like. I don't want to always, like, I'm always called on for prayer or always called on for counsel or always, I want to be able to crack a joke. I love laughing. That's this chick. This is
all the way,
all day long, and I love that.
I do too.
Maybe that's why I'm so nervous about today. So I'm gonna slip up and say the wrong. I want to slip up, Jesus. Right on my tongue, Lord.
Yeah, that's it's well,
Right. No, but yeah, and then like you said, I mean, and in what you're saying, you have to understand and know, individuals, know your friends, their characteristics and this, that, and the other. Let me read this comment because I did ask.
I want to know. I want to have to cut me up. Go ahead, cut me up.
Brandy says here, there is no one that can tell her she handled it incorrectly or correctly. We all have different tolerance levels and determine for ourselves how far down a particular road we want to go with someone.
That's true.
When you decide it's not right for you, obey your intuition and move on, or risk being stuck for years in a friend relationship.
Friend relationship. Okay.
Interesting. I guess a friendship and relationship combined.
I want her to expound on that, but go ahead.
That does nothing but suck the life and vitality from you.
That's what she means. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Great comment, Brandy. Thank you for that.
Thanks, Brandy.
But yeah, anybody else can weigh in as well. That was a great comment.
Yeah, since I'm the guinea pig, life.
And others may have situations too.
Yeah.
And again, we're going to get into those comments from the other posts because they were throwing them out there.
Okay.
What I probably will not do is read the actual names because even though they put it on Facebook, I still want to respect people's privacy. So we'll get to that and read that. Let me just acknowledge a few more people. And what I want to do is actually take a quick break.
Okay.
So we can catch our breath a little bit here.
Okay.
Have a word from our sponsor. Michaela is on. Thank you for watching. And Michelle Thomas, Beatrice Carter has jumped in. We appreciate you guys. We want you guys join in. Lord Michael Hunt, how are you? Dr. Hunt, we appreciate you for watching.
Hi, Dr. Hunt.
On this afternoon. We're talking about friendships and relationships. We want to know if you think that you need to clean up your relationship or reassess your friendships, or vice versa. You can use, throw all that in the mix there today. But this is what we're talking about on today, just having a sit down, round table, round black table discussion on today instead of red table. with my good friends Angie Mims and Janice John. They're in the house on today. So throw your comments in the comment section, and we'll open the phone lines when we come back in case you want to call in. Let's hear a word from our sponsor. Take a quick break, and we'll be back for more of Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette right here on Intellectual Radio.
Hey there, business owners. Is your accounting software challenging? Are your human resources processes non-existent? Does your employee benefit options include an employee assistance program? From purchase orders and timesheet to HR and EAP, ALH Enterprises Incorporated and affiliates can create, overhaul, or simply tweak your system. With decades of experience, we can improve your current situation. Just call us, 872-239-0254. Again, 872-239-0254. Contact ALH Enterprises Incorporated today.
Because he lives, all fears are gone. Because I know who holds the future.
God sent his son, and they called him Jesus. He came to love, to heal and forgive. He bled and died, all to buy my.
All right, we are back. We are back. You listen to Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette. I'm your host, Annette Harris. Thank you so much for joining us on today, for watching and or listening. My live Facebook live feed viewers, we appreciate you for sharing. If you have not done so, please go ahead. We're also on YouTube at the present time. I will ask again, have you subscribed to my YouTube channel? Please go ahead and do so. Type in YouTube. Once you get there, type in MBSWANET, get caught in Annette, and you will see us live there. We're also on the station's website, intellectualradio.com. And I am glad that you guys are here with us. We're talking about friendships and relationships. And I put up there the 411. We're trying to give you the info on it on today. 411, 311, 911.
That's 911.
She know what I'm talking about. That's on today. Let's see. Buddy Gill says here, I have been saying for a long time, I walk alone. Yes, you have, buddy. While I do have and enjoy my friends from various aspects of my life, I've also learned to let them show me who they are.
That's right.
And believe them the first time. Each friend I've had to deal with accordingly. All of them have their seasons in my life, and I ultimately determine the length of their membership in the friend zone. Whoa.
Absolutely. I love it, buddy.
I will say that for all of your friendships and relationships, you should service them all just as you service your car to keep it running. Once it's no longer working, keep it moving forward. I love that, buddy.
Buddy is wise.
He is wise beyond his years, and
Buddy is wise.
when he comes in to say something, you better listen.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
To what he has
Buddy's
typed or
wise.
said or what have you. I love that comment, and I think mantra is he walks alone.
Mhm.
He also has another mantra that says, if they show you who they are, believe them.
Believe
Right.
them. Mhm.
Believe them. And I think if we would take this in, it could probably save us a lot of heartache. It probably could.
And that's why my circle of friends is like really, really small.
Come into
You
the
know,
mic. Talk to
I'm
us.
sorry. My circle of friends are like, really, really small. As y'all know, I have my sisters that we do everything with. I consider those, consider them. I can't talk.
Yes, you can.
Consider them my friends. But
Mhm.
outside of my sisters, I literally have maybe like a good about 6, 7 of y'all, that I, consider really great close friends, because at my age, not that I'm old, I'm only 19, but
That's right. She looks it too.
I've dealt with so much, from people who supposedly be friends or people who did you dirty or wrong. And even in some of those, I still wanted to be friends with them. But, the older you get, the more wiser you become, the less you will tolerate. And the circle that I have, I just keep it tight because I don't, ain't no drama there. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to
Right.
worry
Yeah.
about I don't have to worry about stuff with my friends. Now, some things with my sisters, because we sisters that I can't do with y'all because y'all say not that my sisters ain't saved, but
Right, you just threw them out there under the bus.
say
I
love
hope they're
Jesus
not
too.
watching.
No, it's not that. No, we don't do crazy stuff
Right,
like
right.
that. We just like to
Just
have a
have
good
regular
time.
orgies. Go ahead.
Lord have mercy on my soul. I
But
gotta get my producer ready with
nevertheless,
the bleep button. Go ahead.
y'all
Hey, Crystal.
y'all are my
Hey,
friends, and so I just keep my circle small just
Right.
for that reason. I mean, other people, like was saying earlier, I don't consider friends. I'm sociable with. I might speak and maybe even having a good conversation with them, but it's not to the point where we like tight. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
we are. So
That's true. And as you were talking about your sisters, one thing that I've always realized, and probably I have to get this little backstory. Probably really didn't realize a lot of like how I was raised and how I came along. What my mom taught me. I think my first psychology class, I think we had to write like a lifespan development.
mhm.
So we had to go from when we were born until whatever age I was at that time, right?
Mhm.
And I started realizing some of the things that my mom had taught us. And one of the main things was that your siblings are your friends.
Wow.
That's true.
They're your friends. So they were my first friends. I
Mhm.
mean, we did some of everything together. We would hang out at the mall together as a family.
Mhm.
We go to the mall together. We would do stuff together. And, when I was younger, I was okay with, of course, as you get older, I'm like, I want my own friends or whatever.
Mhm.
But they were my first friend. They are my friends.
Mhm.
And so I even look at Janice and her siblings. I love how they go on trips together. They do
Yeah,
stuff
they
together and they
do.
just hang together.
Mhm.
And it's not like you all don't have, disagreements or whatever, because again,
Yeah.
as siblings, as
Sibling.
family,
Right.
you get that.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
how do you handle it? Are you
Right.
going to stay mad forever, or they pick up the phone next day, girl, okay, you want a sandwich or whatever, something like that to kind of break the
And I
ice.
come running if it's chicken. Go ahead.
Yeah, she will. She will. But yeah, that's a very good point that you brought up about your siblings. But yeah, this is oh, Buddy says here, I'm sorry, I'm looking at Facebook. Everybody who came with you is not going with you. I agree.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
I agree.
Right.
And then knowing again that friend zone, the levels,
Yeah.
whether you're going to call them acquaintances or friends.
Mhm.
I think acquaintances is probably be more the light, loose term or
Yeah.
whatever to use.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
There are two people that I want to mention. I'll mention my godmom. She is someone who
You should know.
absolutely, she definitely is.
I
Like,
believe it.
she epitomizes what a friend is, but I wouldn't call her a friend. She's older than I. She's extremely wise, but she has mastered how to encompass all of me, and give me wise counsel.
Mhm.
She's a prayer warrior. She is someone who knows how to get in her word and be like, "This is what you're gonna do," And you need to have someone like that in your corner. But would I consider her a friend? I would more so consider her someone that I would look up to. And nevertheless, I have a male version of her, but much younger. And he's watching. He's actually in London right now, and he's watching.
Hi from London.
He just messaged me and said I'm watching.
Appreciate it.
But he is someone who
You should know.
knows he's extremely smart. He's brilliant. And yet He's not arrogant. He knows his word. He knows how to laugh. He, doesn't mind sharing some of his mistakes, and I mine. And, I was seeking his counsel on someone that I'm dating right now. And so he was just like, well, Auntie, of course, you always talk about my African friends.
Did she just?
She said it, but
Let's keep
Jen,
going.
we gonna
Let's
keep
keep
it
going.
moving.
Let's keep going.
All
Let's
right.
keep going.
'Cause I don't know how you date Jesus.
You don't
But-
know how to date Jesus.
Yeah, but no, let me stop. Continue on. Continue.
No, but he's someone who I truly love as a friend. Crazy girl.
I'm sorry, Janice and I are stuck right now.
I know, right?
We're gonna come back on
flabbergasted.
track. We're gonna come back on track.
Stuck.
We're stuck. We're
Why?
stuck.
You already know
We
why
will talk
stuck.
about later why
Yeah.
we're stuck, friend. All right. Hey, I tell you what. Okay, I keep saying we're gonna go to that that post. Can somebody pull
My
it up?
jaws are hurting. I'm smiling so hard.
Angie, did you still have it pulled up? The comments from the
But I
post
only
that
have
was
it
on my
from
page.
that's on your page.
Okay.
Yeah, you need to read those comments,
Yeah,
sister.
I think so. How
Yeah.
about you start off? You have it?
Okay, I will start off. You got a lot on your page. Hold on.
Mhm.
Hold on. You're very
Because
popular.
actually what people were doing at first, they were just saying yes. They were answering yes to the question. I'm like, okay, can you elaborate?
Right. So I would like to read Teresa Marie Allison's comment.
Okay.
And the question again is, do you ever feel like you aren't even friends with some of your friends? That's the question. And she says, betrayals and disloyalties aside, this is entirely possible if one party changes, evolves, or grows and the others do not. Oh, she's spot on. I wish I could give her $10 or something. Some relationships are seasonal and we've got to be okay with that. Oh my God, she just spoke to me because I guess maybe I didn't want this to end.
And that's it. We get in a comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
And I always tell people as humans, we don't adapt to change very well.
Right.
True.
So if you get me, in a zone
Mm-hmm.
and I'm riding with it,
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah,
riding for
sure,
a couple of years,
sure.
it feels good.
Absolutely.
I lose that. Wait, what?
Yeah.
And you change on me like that?
Yeah.
That
I
doesn't
don't
feel
like that.
good.
I don't like that.
And so then it's hard, even though you probably know yourself that it needs to change.
Absolutely. I knew deep down. Go ahead, Reverend. I'm listening. Go ahead. This is good stuff. This is therapy. Come on.
But no, that's good. I mean, it's good to realize that that's what's happening. Although sometimes it's hard to wrap our little brains around it or
Mhm.
whatever. But I totally agree what Teresa said.
Yeah, I think that was very profound.
We have to understand that there comes a point in time that we're going to have to change. It's going to have to change.
Mhm.
It may not be the same forever. It may even get to the point, Jan, you started us off where you mentioned about some friends you have, you don't talk to them all the time, but you know that they are a good friend.
Yeah.
It may even get to that level.
Mm-hmm.
I have a friend of mine and she's in Georgia. She grew up here in Illinois. She's in Georgia. And good friend of mine. We do not talk all the time. But when we do, it's like,
on.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
bam. And so I you know what I call her now? My forever friend.
Wow.
And it's like I know that, if we
I like
needed
that.
to sit down and talk about something, we can do that. We can still be open and honest, although we don't see each other, we don't talk all the time. But that friend, it's still there. That
Mhm.
connection is still
Mhm.
there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I call her my forever friend. I don't give that title or that label out to just any and everybody.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It really depends.
How does it work in relationships? I want to talk about that.
You want to talk about relationships?
do.
Ooh.
I do. Because I think that we don't really put enough emphasis on friendships in relationships.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
I'm just saying.
Can I just say this?
Go ahead. It's your
As
show.
far as thank you. As far as relationships go, you know what my motto is?
Mhm.
My motto, my mantra, what I firmly live by. And you're talking about romantic relationships, right?
Absolutely.
You need to be my friend first.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You need to be my friend.
Yes.
I agree.
I can't, and that's my mentality. That's my
Mhm.
thought, because I need to be able to be real with you. I need to
Yeah.
be able to be myself.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to put on a facade.
That's
Mhm.
right.
You know,
Amen.
I go
Mhm.
out, if we're dating or something, I go out to dinner with you and I'm only eating a little bit when I really want to grab
Put my
your plate
elbows
too.
up and get it answered.
Right.
Right.
I want to grab your plate too, but I'm like, oh no, I'm okay or whatever. Oh
Absolutely.
no, I
Not
need to
me.
be
I don't care if I just met you 30 seconds ago or if I've been knowing you 30
Janice
years.
ain't
We are
lying.
eating.
Yes,
Child.
Janice.
I'm trying, but they not letting me. I'm
Okay,
trying.
I'm sorry.
But I'm listening. Go ahead.
But no, but this is what we do when we get together anyway. But yeah, so it's important to me that we have established that friendship first. Um, I need to, we need to sit down, we need to talk, we need
Mhm.
to
Yeah.
be able to talk
And that's
about,
absolutely,
to
I
me,
think that's
any and
vital
everything.
because it's very important to talk first and foremost before anything, so that you won't catch, so you want to invest any feelings, stuff from the bat. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
From
from
like
straight off.
from straight off,
Mhm.
yeah. So I mean, and then that gives me the option that if I want to stick around or not based on what you're telling me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yep,
So
I agree.
yeah.
I agree.
But
There's a
sometimes
question.
you can
Oh, go ahead.
tell someone can tell you something and you see something different. So
Yeah.
oftentimes I want to watch,
Gotcha.
you
That
know.
makes sense.
She's an observer.
Yeah, I am. These eyes aren't big for no reason at all. They're huge. My eyes are big. I am watching everything.
I always feels like
Somebody's watching me.
Angie is watching me.
They are hilarious.
Who said
Hey,
something? I
there
wanna
is a
see.
question for the panel
Uh-huh.
on Facebook Live.
Okay.
Do you believe that you can continue a long time, genuine friendship with someone, of the opposite sex who begins to be attracted to and date you romantically?
Janice?
Mm-mm. Wait a minute. Okay, so
I,
is this? I mean, is this like after you dated and then broke up and then continue to be friends, or or
well,
maybe
it
start to
says
catch
here
feelings for you, or but
a
you just
long
want to
time,
be
genuine
friends?
friendship with someone of the opposite who begins to be attracted
Oh,
to, who begins to be attracted to and
okay.
date you romantically. So she's asking, will you be able to continue that genuine friendship?
While you're dating.
Yeah.
You-
Because the dynamics have changed
Right.
now. They're attracted to you and they're starting to date you romantically. Do you think that would be difficult? Would
Um,
that be something that you could do or not? That's
It
an
depends on,
excellent question.
for me, it depends on the trust. Because if you're true friends prior to the romantic interest being discovered, then you've disclosed some very private things, your thought process, how you interpret certain things. And so, if the romantic interest begins to evolve and you are seeking to date, well, then now, as you're processing, you may remember something that they were being transparent about. And now you're trying to figure
right.
out, you know, are you running game on me or you really feel like this? Do
How's it
you
going to relate to you
right?
at that
How's it
point?
going to relate to you? And so that's why I say it has to be a trust thing. I
Yeah,
think
I see
it's
why you're saying
possible. I
that.
do think that
Yeah.
it's possible, but the trust has to be there.
Excellent.
I've got to be able to trust that you are who you were prior to me telling you,
There you go.
I love you.
I love it. Excellent response.
Yeah.
I love it. Jan?
No, I agree with her. There has to be trust there. I mean, and then like you also said with the discernment thing, I have to be
Mhm.
able to discern that, you know, you your feelings are accurate or not accurate, but if they're really genuine, you know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
and then I have to be able to see it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I think that's what it is for me. But anything is possible.
This is something because I was
Yeah.
just looking at what show is that? The Neighborhood.
Mhm.
With Cedric Entertainer. You guys see that on Monday nights?
Mm-mm.
I watch
It's a
National
new show with him.
Geographic.
I'm not a TV person.
It's a
I'm
new.
not either.
It's a new show with him. Well, the son, the one that plays his son, had started dating this young lady. Well, the mother didn't like the young lady because of, I think it was religious reasons or something.
Mhm.
But eventually, as the show went on, she went to go, she had to, mom had to get out of herself or whatever. So, okay, this is my baby. I need to go and really, see what's on his mind, see if I can try and support him.
Mhm.
Well, by the time she got over to talk to him about it, he said, well, Mom, it don't even matter now because we broke up. And so then she was like, oh, well, why? She was happy, but she was like, oh, why, baby,
Uh-huh.
whatever. And so then he said, well, we just decided that we were better off as friends.
Mm.
So, I mean, I guess I brought that up, in conjunction with
Yeah.
this question. Sometimes you may, if that romantic aspect comes up, I guess you really are going to have to see
Yeah.
how you both are going to act and or
Mhm.
react.
Mhm.
Throw in that trust that you were just talking about, and then you both need to sit back and do some observation.
Right.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And then understand that if it may be possible
Yeah.
Mhm.
that you're just better off as friends.
Mhm. Mhm.
So throw in the trust and have that open mentality to know that we may not work as this romantic.
Right.
Or do
But
the
I
hard
think
cutoff.
Right.
right, but see, I think that, and see, another thing you're gonna have to think about: how important was that friendship?
Right.
Okay,
Right.
because see, some people can be like, okay, it didn't work out romantically, and then they get all out of sorts with each other, and now they're not even friends anymore.
Right.
I know I'm throwing a lot of stuff in there.
Well, no, I mean, but these are all possibilities that you're throwing out. These are actual have happened between people, human beings, Homo sapiens, whatever you want to call it. And so, just saying. And so, you've got to be able to consider that. And so, when I talked about, friendship in a relationship, it's a very important component because at the end of the day, I want to be able to trust that you're mature, that you're spiritually inept, you're able to navigate through changes. And if you do decide to have a romantic relationship, and if for whatever reason it doesn't work, the maturity level is there so that you don't spaz out, so that you don't have a hard cutoff like Angie. There these things happen. And I'm learning, I'm gonna be transparent for a moment. When I got married, I wanted to so badly. I didn't know this. I didn't vocalize it, but I wanted it so badly to replicate what my parents have. And I did not have a friendship with my husband.
Okay.
We were more so drawn to the fact of, it was a physical thing. It was fireworks when we got together and held each other. It was fireworks. But what I really realized as I got older, even in recent years, I absolutely cannot be romantically involved with you if there's no friendship. I can't. And I may want to. You may be a excellent provider, an unmatched, person who knows how to patiently wait for me as I ride to the dinner table, and you may stand behind my chair, which I love all these chivalrous things, by the way. Um, but at the end of the day, I need to know that I can count on you.
Absolutely.
I need to know that you can handle me and you. I need to be
Vice
able to, be
Now,
able
when you
to.
say handle you, like,
Oh Lord.
You see what I mean?
I mean, I was
Organic.
just asking, like,
Organic.
I mean,
That's just
are
you.
you
But that is-
like the
but that is
Tasmanian
well.
devil when you're mad, or are you cranky in the morning,
Oh,
or
okay.
are you picky when it comes to eating?
Well,
are
I
you
mean,
like the
yeah.
toilet
All
tissue a
aspects.
certain way?
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. I mean, handle me. I mean,
Over,
when
not
you,
under.
yeah, because we all have different demands. Like you
Okay.
work in in my opinion, a very demanding job, Janice. You hear very crazy things on a
Yes,
regular.
Lord.
People are calling you.
Mhm.
I don't even want to vocalize what I could possibly even imagine what those calls
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if she has a rough day, are you able to handle when I'm just not feeling it?
Right.
Mhm.
Or when you need to come home and vent,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you a
Or when
good
you need to come home
listener?
and not say nothing at all. Don't talk to me.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
just need to clear my mind because
Right.
of all that
That's
I've
me.
just dealt with.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is me.
I
So
When
they
I
got
get
need to
off of
be able
work,
to handle.
when I get off work, I'm like,
Yeah, and yeah, I feel you on that. Like, I don't want to feel like I'm walking on pins and needles or eggshells because if I'm saying a certain thing to you, you like you said, you can't handle it, or you don't know how to
you
deal
can't
with it, or
handle
you
the
ready
truth.
to, break it off because how I'm feeling.
Right.
Yeah.
So I get that.
So, Brian, I hope we answered your question. I know we
Yeah,
kind of
you
add a
did.
little bit more to that, but that was an excellent question.
Mhm.
Chris Davenport is watching, and his response was absolutely, Mary, you're a best friend.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Let's see. Brandy says here, never dated, always friends from day one. Okay.
Mhm.
No, you
Wait,
don't want
I'm
to date
not
them.
seeing all that. Let me go back.
Okay, it's there.
You
Chris
need an
Davenport
iPhone,
also
that's
says,
why.
when
I'm
hard
just playing.
times come, you need a friend. I totally
Mhm.
agree. Robin is on. RLG says, I had a male best friend from childhood who told me once we became adults that we couldn't be friends because he had fallen in love with me.
Oh.
Wow, I was hurt because I was a great friend,
Oh.
but
I
to
can
such
relate.
is life.
I can relate, Miss Gee.
Oh, and she says, I haven't. They haven't spoken in 3 years now.
Oh.
Now
my
that's we're saying yeah. Now that's actually sad because wow. Okay, so then what was the value of that friendship?
Right.
You know what I
And
mean?
it goes back to what you were saying earlier. You know, you spaz out. Clearly, that person spazzed out. Like, nope.
Right.
And they,
Just got bam, just fine on him. You know, he just couldn't handle it.
she probably did.
Maybe
That's
that's what it
what you
was.
shoulda scooped up.
She's like, I got to have
Right.
it.
Right. How come they couldn't?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me stop because that's another whole nother show. Lady Iris Reed, we appreciate you for watching. Chris also says, I'll take maturity and understanding that we both have grown, but we've grown together.
Right.
Love it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, Chris.
And Chris, love Chris because he's a millennial and he
Oh, wow.
is, oh my
Yeah.
God, that young man is he's powerful in what he
They
does.
sound like
He and his wife are just they're excellent. They have a TV network in, is it Arizona? Help me out. It's called Vibes though. So you
Okay.
guys check them out. You got to watch them. They do wonderful things. And then okay, buddy. He says, per Brandy's modified question, I think it's all in the way which you handle their expressed desire in dating. You would have to watch how they handle your expressed position or desire not to date. If they're mature to handle the outcome, maybe the friendship can continue. But rejection is nothing nice.
Mm-mm.
I don't care how much makeup you put on it. And he basically was saying what we were saying here.
Yeah.
I agree. There's that buddy. He struck again.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Pretty
Randy
smart.
Glass is on. How are you? Thanks for watching. Lady Valerie Anderson, we've been playing your music today. She was my guest last week, came in and gave us a mini concert on last week.
Praise
We
the Lord.
appreciate you and thank you so much. We know that God is so good. Go out and get
Yes,
that
it
that CD. That's the name of her CD. Robin says here, yes, he couldn't handle. She said he couldn't handle all this fineness, and
is.
that's
I know
in
that's right.
caps.
Was that what it was? See, we know it.
Oh,
Yeah.
but there's an
Mhm.
addendum here. But he was married, and it was too much for him to continue to be friends. Okay, I get it.
Oh no.
There had to be something.
Okay.
There had to be something.
Okay, Miss Gee.
So I get it. I understand, and I guess my hat is off to him for
Yeah.
because it could have went a totally different way.
Sure enough. And she was just like, no.
Right. Patricia is on watching, and Brandy says wise decision on his part. Yeah. I give him kudos, whoever he is, for that.
Yeah.
Because some people will just fall into, I just had somebody last night to tell me about an individual who inboxed them and said that they wanted to leave their spouse for them.
Wait,
Yep.
what?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
Mhm. So that's what I say. It could go another way.
Oh, wow.
It could, because you don't know what the mentality of people
I can
are.
relate to that.
They could just be tired in whatever they're involved
Mhm.
in, whatever marriage, relationship, whatever, and they just want to get out.
But the
And
grass always looks greener on the other
it
side.
does when you get over
things
there.
are
They nothing
that.
but a big old patch of brown.
I'm telling you, you got no
stuff.
Roundup, kill them weeds.
Mulch.
I'm telling you ain't got none of that. No perennials, no geraniums,
Lord,
nothing.
have mercy.
Nothing.
Right. Oh my God. Yeah, that's interesting. But thank you for sharing that. Demetri Pitts is on. Hey, big sis. Thank you for
Hey,
watching.
big
I still
Um,
call her Ava. No,
I
no.
know. I know.
I'm really grappling with that.
It is something. We're talking today about relationships and friendships. The questions, some of the questions that were on the floor. Do you need to clean up your relationship, or do you need to reassess your friendship? So we're talking about that. I think we were trying to segue into talking about that relationship part. I know that Angie kind of wanted to talk about because we mentioned about the unequally yoked
Oh yeah.
portion. So You guys can continue if you want to throw your comments in about friendship. I think we're going to kind of slide on over into the relationship part here. And do you want to start us off with that? Because we were talking as far as the relationship about being, you okay, Angie? About being, sometimes you can get involved with an individual who is in the church,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe they express the same, or you know that they have the same faith. Thank you. As you, and you're thinking, okay, that's it. That's good stuff right there. We can do this thing. We can be together. We can get married. Da 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 da. And that sometimes is not always the right answer. I keep looking at Angie because she over
No
there making faces,
ham, no
shaking her
ma'am.
head. So we want to talk about this. Give us your thoughts on social media as well. Facebook. I don't know if you guys are over on YouTube making comments. I'll hop over there in a minute, so I won't miss you there as well. Comment here, and then I'm gonna give the floor to Angie. That grass is indoor, outdoor carpeting.
Who's that, buddy?
Don't be hoodwinked. Water your own grass.
That's right.
RLG, Robin. I agree. I totally agree. It'll save you some heartache. And we want to, before we end today, kind of talk about save yourself from some heartache.
Yes.
Okay. So those are two things we're going to do. Angie, do you need a break?
If you want one,
Okay.
I'm going to do the best that I can.
Well, what you got? Come on.
I
Bring
think
it to
that being unequally yoked, people often perceive that as just being a believer and a non-believer. And there's so much more to it than that. And that is where, I expose myself and become, a bit transparent in regards to me dating within the church and really finding out that you literally can be married to someone and or dating someone in the church and you're not equally yoked at all, and I experienced that, and it was so tormenting for me eventually because it was a very sticky situation. It was one that was very sensitive. You couldn't make sudden moves because, as you said in your video prior to us arriving to the show, we are pastor's children.
Right.
It's a position that I do not like at all, but I still love my dad, tremendously, but I don't like being a pastor's daughter at all. It's really crazy because when you are in search of a partner, you want someone in the church, but you really don't know just how unequally yoked you are until you actually start talking about living the way Christ would have us to live.
They be in the church and still want some nookie before marriage.
They still want the nookie, the cookies, the Jolly Ranchers. They want the Tootsie Rolls. They want everything. And if they don't get it, then you see another side.
Right.
And then you have the component of, trying to just align yourselves the way that God would have you outside of sex, doing things the way that God would have you to do them, being able to discuss and communicate those things that you don't agree on, hence having friendship prior to relationship. And so what I discovered in my own life was that I have a busy life outside of church.
No.
Shut up. I do. And so I'm involved in a lot of different things. And what I discovered and experienced was that person who was at church every single Sunday, couldn't handle that, was very jealous, very, very possessive, stalkerish, and so I was just like, holy crap, and then again, I go back to me because it takes two to tango. The way I handled it wasn't always right. It wasn't. And so I'm discovering, I'm enjoying this season of singleness after, being married and having several relationships and everything, because it's letting me know that one, you need to know your purpose in life. When you're dating, you need to know why you were created. What is it specifically that God wants you to do? How can you better improve? What is it that you add to the relationship as you're trying to possibly find out if you two are meant to get to be together? And a lot of times I abhor when women are always, looking to see what the man can bring to the table. I think that I definitely want someone who can provide for me and someone that's a friend to me. But we have a lot of women out here who can't cook. They're argumentative. They don't know how to be a friend and discern when the man isn't in the greatest of moods. You have women who are just very needy. And so I'm just saying these are things that happen. And it's not just women though. And so being unequally yoked is not just for the non-believer and the believer.
That's right.
You need to be able to attend Bible class together, Sunday school together. You need to be able to pray together. You need to be able to meet each other's families and know what you like and don't like and be able to discuss it without feeling like, oh my God, my entire relationship may be in jeopardy.
Yeah.
If I voice this to you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've got to be able to handle that. And so this was something that has become especially dear to me. And it's a very hurtful, but yet sweet experience.
Interesting.
I know that's oxymoronic, but it is. It really is, because we don't know ourselves. We don't know who we are. And we have all these demands and we look to TV and other relationships, as I admitted earlier, and we want that, but we don't know how to navigate through it. We don't know what to look for. We don't know ourselves enough to know that, okay, maybe I should cut it off here because I'm going to turn into an Incredible Hulk if this happens again. Or am I dating a narcissist? Is he a covert narcissist or is he an overt narcissist? You have all these things.
Okay.
So being equally yoked is something that should not be taken lightly. Just because someone goes to church does not mean that you all are meant to be together. In fact, dating in a church is more than a notion.
And just because he is in church doesn't mean, or I want to say that the person you are meant to be with probably is not even in church, but they believe God and they have the same interests, as you do.
Yeah.
It goes
Make
back
your
to that
case, girl.
scripture. You just say it.
Did you see that? Yeah, girl.
Well, how can two walk together unless they agree? That's the last thing I wanted to say on that.
Yes.
But, but that's true though, because some of the guys in church,
Man,
we done seen it.
Some of you guys in church, you be like, go, you want to run the other way?
Yeah. Or people want to hold you hostage for years at a time and you're in the church.
Yeah.
Or you want to get married too fast.
Right.
So being equally yoked also means having your visions aligned
that's
together
right.
in God.
I agree. And you also said something, Angela, that made me think, what are you bringing to the table? You're always talking about what we want in an individual, in our potential spouse. We want you to have all this lined up. Okay, where's your list?
Yeah.
What are you bringing to the table?
Yeah.
What do you need to work on? What do you need to? So it's important, as you were saying, to understand and know yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that's probably where we really need to start with the life.
Yeah.
You have to know yourself. Maybe that could be part of. As I said, when we end up, we're going to talk about how to guard against, these negative relationships and friendships, what we should and shouldn't be doing. And as we age, as we get older, we learn.
Yeah.
And then when you know better, you should do better.
That's right.
You should do better. I used to always say, when you know better, you do better. And some people said, no, you should do better.
Right.
You should do
Because sometimes they do know, but they don't.
They don't do it.
Comment here. The devil goes to church every Sunday. Oh, yes, he does. Everyone carrying a Bible ain't walking with the Lord. Sharpen your discernment, and if it's God ordained, you will know. The enemy hears your prayers and knows how to send the counterfeit. Now that is a message all in itself. Robin, RLG,
She's deeper than the ocean.
all on it. All on it.
Deeper than the ocean.
And that's so true, because go back to that list. You have your list all laid out. The devil knows too. Okay, I'm gonna send her exactly what she got on her list.
Yep.
But he's got a little bit of narcissism.
Right.
He's got a little bit of,
it
whatever.
becomes quite diabolical. It becomes demonic, wicked, and you don't even know why it's so intense. Because it's so wicked, it's demonic.
Right.
It is diabolical.
Thinking that this is just what we supposed to go through.
Right.
Right.
Right. Yeah. and you just take it all in, like,
Yeah.
okay, I'll just go with
You
the flow.
dealing with it, yeah, going with the flow.
No, we
But
don't need to go with the flow.
yeah,
Hey, guys, I need your thoughts and opinions too, as we are talking about how do we guard against these negative relationships. Because if we don't, because sometimes now some people, we already talked about tolerance levels.
Mhm.
Some people can take things, a little bit better, or they can handle things a little bit better, a little bit easier than others. And then some people, it sometimes it breaks them all the way down,
Mhm.
and then you don't even recognize them anymore.
Wow.
They take and we don't want that to happen to ourselves or to anybody else for that matter. So as we're sitting here having this little round table, talk today, we want to see if we can try and help somebody too,
Sure.
as well. And then our experiences.
Yeah.
Sometimes experience can be the best teacher, as they
Yeah.
say.
Mhm.
So we can give our thoughts, and want to encourage you all to give yours as well, because I know that you've experienced some stuff.
Mhm.
I've got a list.
You got a list? What kind of list you got, Ange?
So glad you asked. Turn with me, if you will, to the book of. No, I'm just playing.
To the book of to the book of notebook.
From my mistakes, I learned this, and from my research, listening to different pastors and speakers on relationships. Like I told you before, this is a subject that's very near and dear to my heart: friendships and relationships. So I put, if a person does not agree with your spirit, run.
Mm.
Like it's like run, Forrest, run. And then two, you need to have a common faith. When you may mention earlier, the person may not even go to church, but they're a believer. You have to have that commonality, that denominator there.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Go back up to number one.
Number one, if a person does not agree with your spirit, run.
Okay, can you elaborate with that a little bit?
Well,
Because some people may not understand. No.
for me, I know that I am a lover of God. I know that I have had situations that have happened to me that I know no one but God could bring out. So I can't compromise that. So if a person doesn't respect that, or if a person can't really relate to that, my spirit will let me know
Mhm.
you can't go there with them.
Right.
Because the respect for Christ, the reverence for him is not there. They may be nice, they may be handsome, they may be a provider, they may be someone who even is intellectual, but your spirit will tell you that there is going to be some almost uncontrolled tension, because they too have a spirit, but you've got to figure out which one.
Mm.
And if in fact that spirit is not the spirit of God,
Mhm.
then you are asking for undeserved torment.
Wow. That's good.
If your spirit does not connect with them, run. That's what I mean.
I mean, and you just can't be so caught up in I want a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Now
you can say that again.
you can't be so caught up in the fact that I want a relationship, where you won't cut it off when it needs to be cut.
Mm-hmm.
When they not, like Angie saying, if your spirit ain't agreeing with it, because this is, you want this and you've been waiting for it for a long time, so you let it slide,
And compromise.
and compromise. And
Yeah.
then, like she said, you'll be going through some unnecessary, undeserving torment.
Love it. I love it.
You just can't. We all at some point, want a relationship. We want a
Yep.
good one, but
Yes.
if what's that man say? Johnny Cochran say, if it don't fit, you must have quit.
The late Johnny Cochran. Yes, you're
Yeah.
right. You're right. That is so true. Ange.
Yeah,
Okay, so
baby.
I backed you up to number one. You want to continue on?
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I got my ADHD kicked in. I went on my phone. I think that this is what I wrote down. You have potentially met the right one when they respect you immensely. They must
That's right.
value you as an equal. Respect
Mhm.
must go both ways. Neither will fall into the divine order of God unless that respect factor is there.
so true.
I love it.
When a person doesn't respect you, all bets should be off. The right person will hear you out, and they're big enough to admit to hearing sound advice.
Mhm.
And that just goes back to the component of an ego.
Sorry.
Sometimes we become combative because it's coming from you. I don't want to hear it. And you
Mhm.
literally will know that this is right. This is not wrong. This goes with God. This goes with basic morals and principles. And you're fighting me on this for what? you know. And so ultimately what happens is either you compromise, you have a very myopic view of what this scenario is, and you end up being hurt because you want to be in a relationship so badly. And so the respect ends up dwindling down to merely nothing because they don't reverence you or who you serve.
Ooh, so many things I want to add to that.
Go ahead, Adam.
There is, as you were talking, I think Jan, it probably brought up in my mind, sometimes wanting to be involved in a relationship that it actually takes over your sense.
Yeah, been there.
Your common sense.
Yeah.
I've been there.
But then what we have to look around us, and what is being advertised, what is being shown. You even get to the Valentine's Day and the Sweetest Day, and
such a holiday person.
And right. And then I mean, even though a lot of those are Hallmark holidays, but people put so much emphasis on it, and it's like, and especially if you on social media, that's all you see. Yeah, my boo, and whatever.
I got these edibles.
Right. And then if you don't have a boo, then you're like,
oh my God, life is over.
And then you go into the compromising type thing or whatever. You can have a boo over here if you would just go ahead and just do that.
Yep, absolutely.
Or say that.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, you're gonna have to respect yourself too, just to not allow yourself to just accept any and everything. It is not that serious. Before I even got married, I would go and buy myself flowers and and go buy myself cards and take myself out, whatever like that. So, but I had to do that so I could get over the thing. I really want to be with somebody or whatever. I'm being honest, because I mean that's a part that that's what God placed in us. So that's it's normal to feel that way, but how you navigate through it is going to be so important. There. Okay, so I just want to throw that in there.
Absolutely.
What's your next one? What do you have?
Okay. The next one is the right one will make you feel like number one.
Yes, Lord.
I know you can witness.
That's so true.
The right one will make you feel like number one. And this can be tricky though, before we get so excited, because you also have obsession and possession. You are still number one, but that other person has a life. I was in a relationship where I was so much number one that they wanted to know when I sneezed. They wanted to know when I went to the restroom. They wanted to know what I ate, what light I was at, And at first I was just like, oh my God, this is the sweetest thing ever. And then it became like so toxic. So there's two sides to that, So being number one is I hold nobody before you other than God.
Right.
And yet I'm still able to maneuver in life and conduct my business and my affairs and hold a job and be able to be the family person. And you still hold your spot, so that when we do come together, it's just that explosive, because you are number one. You are number one. I don't put anyone before you. You've earned that though. You've earned it. You demonstrated a certain level of regalness, if you will, where I feel compelled to place you there. What is that? She just smiling at us.
Why?
We know why, But it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And so you don't feel like you're in competition with anyone. They have gotten their stuff situated. And you don't have
never a secret.
Right. You don't have to. Right. Oh my God. Yeah. And that's the other thing too. All the secrets.
That's a whole nother show.
Is that on my list? Yeah. You don't have all these secrets. I'm telling you, I could talk for days on this because I went through it. And what happens is that, when you're number one, you're that friend. Okay. You've earned that friendship. They're sitting in that seat. And then you feel open enough not to withhold.
There you go.
You don't
Yeah.
have these secret compartments of your life
Mhm.
that could possibly, if you find out later on and it's not through them, almost dismantle the entire relationship.
Right.
You know,
That's so true.
and so, you feel like, number one, you're treated like a lady, you're treated like the man that you are, the king and the queen that you are. And there's this closeness, this intimacy, this unexplained bond that you have because you're number one. God first.
God first.
God first.
But you're number one.
But you're earthly number one.
Earthly number one. I like that.
The
Yeah.
natural number one.
Natural.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Wow. That's good.
true.
You got more on that list? Because I have some comments over here. You
You
want me to
do?
read the comments?
Yeah, well, read the comments.
Okay.
They're gonna tell me how bad I did.
Robin
Sorry, I
says,
didn't tell you something.
oh, goodness. I don't know if I read this one or not. Demonic, yes, I actually lived that and learned from it, but it almost cost me my life.
Mhm.
One day, she says she'll tell the whole story.
Yeah.
And I want you to tell the whole story because I want to hear what that's about. What do the lonely do at Christmas? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true. When we're talking about, these Hallmark holidays and when people are not involved in a relationship, sometimes it's magnified at that point that you are not in a relationship.
Yeah.
And so it kind of makes you feel a little bit inhibited. And then we talk about there goes the compromising. Kristen says, love the wisdom, amen and amen. There was a point in time where I wanted to please everybody. Ooh, deep.
Mhm.
Be connected with everybody. Heart on my sleeve. Wow. She's talking about me. But I realized after much heartache that not everyone is designed to be that. Learning to put people in their proper place in my life and trust God that whoever is supposed to be will be.
That's right.
Amen.
Amen.
Who was
Yeah.
that, Reverend? Who was that?
That's
Reverend?
I guess Kristen Hardy.
Reverend Hardy.
Um,
Bless your heart
I
and all your
agree.
parts.
And I think we said earlier about, sometimes when we get older,
Yeah.
and start understanding,
Yeah.
things a whole lot better,
Yeah.
we get that mentality that she
Mhm.
just said.
Mhm.
You have to learn. Everybody is, you do learn from your heartaches, you learn from the mistakes, you learn
Yeah.
from all of that. Well, you should.
I know
Sure.
I am.
Because my learning didn't come from, my age. It came from the experience.
she's
as
19.
well. Right.
Yes.
I'm telling that lie, but yeah, from experience, and from age, because again, like I was saying earlier, when you get to a certain age, and I'm 40, just, I'm not 19.
She looks
You
great.
just realize, you just don't want to be put up with certain
Yep.
BS,
Yeah.
or crap, or you get to the point where you rather be alone. You know what I'm saying? Because that saying is so true. Like I can just do bad all by myself.
Yeah.
And it's not so much like financially, because I know us women sometimes we'll financially give to a man. Like what's the point of having one if we're gonna be struggling together? I can do bad all by myself. But I mean,
Hello.
bad meaning, the emotional, the mental, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't need you to drag me down. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Or try to control me or whatever the case is. I can be alone. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
I'd rather just be by myself than to deal with that.
We should accent each other.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you get to a certain age, that's just where I was. Like, forget all that. I'm just gonna travel and do me and, be with me and my daughter. We gonna kick it and, until someone came along. That's a different story for another show.
A great one.
But
Yes, that is a whole
that's just
nother
where I
show.
was.
A whole nother show. Oh yeah, that's good though. I hear Jan, and I agree with you. That's you want to hear about? No, I'm just kidding. No.
I mean, and I think that it was because, I don't want to be too transparent, but I've never been married. So when you're not, regardless of how many relationships you've been in or how deep they were, if you've never been married, you've technically been single. So I felt like, I waited because those relationships I was in, I could have possibly gotten married, but I'm glad I didn't,
You've
and
been
I'm
divorced by
glad
now,
I
huh?
did wait. And it's like when you just, again, embracing where you are in life and living, and you're not even thinking about a significant other or things of that nature. It's like it just comes when you least expect it,
Right.
So, and that's just how I started dealing with it,
Okay.
I mean, and just because that's how it happened for me, don't mean it happened for everybody else, but that was, and I didn't dwell on it. I wasn't the one to say, Lord, send me a husband or anything like that. I just began to live my life.
Pac-Man, any man. You didn't say all that. She didn't say all that, y'all.
That's just
Okay.
me though.
But that's good. That's a good you. That's a good you. And we have seen how the Lord has blessed Janice, and we're so
We
excited
have.
for her.
We are
That's
witnesses.
another
We are a
story.
great cloud
Coming
of
soon
witnesses.
at a theater near you. Did you have any more points that you want to pull up?
I do, but I don't want to monopolize the show with my notes.
Okay, well let me do this. You're a mess. Let me do this. Let me read a few of them because I told you guys I wanted to read some more comments that
Yeah.
were on the thread. Because I just like to let you guys know I appreciate when you do engage, whether it's
Yeah.
actually here live or prior to the show. And I want to take your presence, if I can't use that, for granted. Let's see. Trina says here on the post. And then again, this is the post that says, "Do you ever feel like you aren't even friends with some of your friends?" Trina's comment was, "It's because they never call me to check on me or to talk." And she says she's always the one that has to call them if she wants to talk.
One-sided, like Angie
Yeah.
was saying.
Exactly. And let's see. Deborah says here, because some moments you just want that friendship, but
Mhm.
people just don't give you that anymore.
Yeah.
They're fake.
Very.
Yeah. Let's see. Bernadine says, if someone has mentioned me negatively behind my back, then yes, she doesn't consider them a friend any longer
Let's pause for that.
for the cause.
I hate that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like I have a strong like if I find out about it and you're in my face laughing,
Mm.
first off, you don't even have to say hello to me. Okay, let's get that understood.
They can keep walking. to
You
the
keep
end of
walking.
the
I know
earth.
people like, well, just be cordial. I don't need your cordiality because you're fake.
You're a fake
Yeah.
baby.
I don't need that. But
She's
go
a
ahead.
singer too.
Go ahead.
Not
Go ahead.
really.
Well, go ahead. I don't like that.
Yeah.
Right.
I do not like. If I know that you've been dog walking me,
Zero tolerance policy.
yes, zero tolerance. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead.
Okay, Natalie says here, it is what it is sometimes. And I asked her why. And she says, I guess cause I'm glad to have who I have in my life.
Right.
And sometimes I wish I had more, but sometimes too many friends may be a distraction
Mm-hmm.
in your purpose. You need a person that can give you a true no and a true yes.
Yeah.
And not everyone is capable of doing that or willing to get to know you to that extent.
That's true.
And she also says, even myself, I can only get to know so many people so much. Yeah, I agree with all that, because and then talking about dynamics and levels or whatever. You also, I agree with her point of saying everybody cannot be, close to you or that friend
Right.
if you're trying to do a certain thing or if there's a certain purpose that you need to fulfill that you're supposed to be fulfilling, because sometimes some people can bring you down.
Or try to anyway.
My friend from London is still watching. Hi.
Is he watching? Is he making a comment or?
No, he's just watching.
Okay, thanks for watching,
He's
London.
He's.
We appreciate you, London. I'm just going to call you London because I don't have a name for you.
Just call him London. That's fine.
Okay. Demetria Brantrilla says, quite often, her answer is yes. Sometimes when life happens and I'm lost in my own space and they are in theirs, I get caught in a feeling of isolation. Then there are times when I have to check myself when my friends and even family engage in events or activities, and regardless of the reasons, whether it's distance, different interests, etc., I feel left out.
No.
I've had to realize everything that my family and friends do is not meant for me to be a part of. There are things I once participated in heavily that no one realizes unless they were there, that I no longer take part in. I feel some kind of way when things trigger those memories, but I can't let what is going on in the lives of others dictate my peace. And that's key. That last sentence right there is definitely key right there. Because sometimes you want to be involved, you want to do things or whatever, and there may be reasons why you can't. And then you just have to realize within yourself that I still have peace, or you still have to realize that you don't let that control you. There are other comments here. Let me make sure to go back to the live feed first. I don't know if either of you can get on that live feed, make sure we don't have any comments from there as I'm reading these.
Brandy just says, Reverend Kristen. She likes what Kristen
Oh,
has to say.
oh yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that,
totally
Reverend.
agree. Yeah, this is good. Again, this putting this post out made me realize how people feel about the subject itself. Um, Demetrius says also, great question and potential show topic. Well, that's what we're doing. Sometimes our minds and past experiences cause us to believe that those that truly love us don't.
Mm-hmm.
My personal bout with depression and internal struggles taught me that we have to look within ourselves to see why it is so important for us to feel validated. External validation and inclusion don't mean we aren't loved. It means that we have some personal soul searching to do. That also came from one of her counseling sessions, and she says, which she's not ashamed to say she's had. That's good. We got to look within ourselves. We've talked about
Yep.
that throughout today's discussion as well. You have to look at yourself. Norzella says, sometimes that's normal because of their actions, which speaks louder than words.
Mhm.
Deatrice, I'm sorry, says this is a needed post. I am the go-to person in most of my networks and circles.
Yep.
There are many, many people that I pray and listen to and counsel.
Yes.
Sounds like somebody else. I mean a whole lot of folk.
Yep.
And it's my gift, always has been. But when life happens to me and I get really busy handling my own issues or just take a break from some of my quote unquote friends, they take issue with that. And that's a shame.
Yes.
I can't always be there for so many people.
Yes.
If on a particular day, 5 people want to vent to me and I'm busy, 3 of those 5 people will get offended as if I'm not making time for them.
Girl, give me her number.
Okay, I'll give it to you after the show. Grown-ups need to recognize that God blesses us with real, true friends.
That's
Yeah.
true.
If we allow him to. But those friends, no matter how close and how much they love us, they are not our savior and they have lives too. That's deep.
Mhm.
Now that's for some of you all. Like she said, you were you were the counselor, you are the prayer warrior for people, you're the go-to person.
Mhm.
And sometimes that can really, did I say really? Weigh
Really?
on you.
Oh my God.
And sometimes you do need to take a break. I think I commented on that and I said sometimes you do need a break from the action. You do. Sometimes for your own sanity.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it is deep out here. When you're the glue, oh my God, you become so drained emotionally and even spiritually. And sometimes people don't even know that your own life is falling apart.
See,
And you are constantly giving out, praying, helping, being a sounding board. You have those people who every time you talk to them, it's about them. You just sit there and you listen to them and you accommodate them. And it's so mentally, and I just let them keep going.
and you're
And
like,
in my
"Can
head,
I
I'm thinking,
tell?"
you so selfish. But of course, I don't say that.
You didn't say that about me, did you?
No.
Right.
Because,
Demetri Pitt says, absolutely. That's why I don't refer to them as friends. Robin says, I'm a friend to many, but I have very few friends. So absolutely, I know that I'm not. Sheila says here, oh, she's reposting the post. She said it was a great question. Her comment is, wow, I have someone that comes to mind. I don't even think I can call that person friend anymore. Yeah. And these things happen like major more often than we realize. So it how we handle it is going to definitely be key. I liked your points, Angie, and what you were bringing out. Your list that you brought with us today.
I got 3 more.
And she
You
said
got
she won't
3
be
more?
doing a lot of talking.
Right. I don't pay attention to Angie when she says stuff like that because she's just talking.
I'm
You have to
enjoying it,
know
though.
your friends.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I'm taking a lot of mental notes.
Why don't you give us those last 3?
Okay, really quick. I won't expound on them. It'll just be points
Unless I ask you a question.
that here she go being mama. They're just points that I want you to consider. The right one will have the ability to make you laugh. Ecclesiastes 3 and 4 is the scripture you can reference. I love laughing.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll be generous in every way. I abhor a stingy person.
Mhm.
Like, every time we get together, you never give or offer to pay, or you never, it's just we gonna go Dutch. Okay, watch me do double Dutch, clean on out this Dutch. Okay, and then the right one allows you to be you, and the last one. Well, I think that's the last one. The right one will be patient with you. You can reference Colossians 3 and 19.
Mhm.
And the right one will close the deal.
Ooh. I like that.
That's what I
Uh,
learned.
Close the deal.
Mhm.
Yeah, if they do everything prior to what you said, then they're closing the deal.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that.
Mhm.
I like that.
That's what I learned.
That's
What-
good stuff. Good stuff. What do you want to say to her last three comments?
Um, Nothing really except in the right one.
She said nothing, and then she talked.
I mean, the right one ain't gonna take 4 and 5 years to know that if they really want to be with you.
Really want to be with you.
You know, they won't.
Mhm. Go ahead.
You know,
Okay.
people. You know, I heard people say that. You know, somebody know when they first meet you, they know right off the bat if they want to. You know, take something a little further, and others don't. And I really believe that that's true.
A little further or get married.
I mean,
I think she's stuck on a relationship section of today's show. Is that right? Is that right?
I mean, what when I mean when I say a little further is, you know, possibly going to marriage. You know, because even though a person might know that they want to be with you right from the start, unfortunately, sometimes it may not get to that point. But they know what their intentions are when they first, you know, meet you. In my opinion, I believe that.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean,
Interesting.
and it's not just because of our current situation, but that's
It's a
just.
beautiful situation. It is.
But I mean, and that's true. You know,
Okay.
it's true.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that. That Jan, I tell you, we love her. We love her.
Oh, I love y'all too. Group hug.
Oh, group hug. Oh, that's so sweet. They probably like, is that how y'all hug? We're sitting at a table, guys. Dana says here, she purged toxic relationships, and in doing so, she made room for more positive and healthy relationships.
Yes.
It makes a huge difference in your life. You are not weighed down by mess. And I agree.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. She also says here that she believes God rewards courage.
Mhm.
And if you have courage to get rid of things that you know don't belong in your space, you will be rewarded. So we can add that point in
Yeah.
to handle these toxic or negative relationships and friendships
Absolutely.
that you know that you need to
Yeah.
dismiss.
Right.
Here's another comment. Let's see here. A local denomination, oh my goodness, is currently harassing this person. They managed to bribe some of their friends and family members into lying about how close they are to this individual and how well they remember them. They've also done the same with some of my friends. So this person was obviously hurt by a church.
Mm.
Been there. I'm telling you, I do not like being a pastor's daughter.
And that was so deep. And I told that individual I hated so bad that they were going through that. But, you know, a lot of time, and then you get into that church hurt and all that
Oh.
stuff.
And I can only imagine what she's going through.
Exactly. Exactly. So we got to be careful how we treat people,
That's true.
whether it's on personal level or you are, you know, a church. Okay, let's see here. Making sure we go back to our live feed. You guys, I do appreciate all of y'all for watching on today. Oh, Louise Hayes says, Angie, that's you all day, every day. That's God Mom, right?
That's my God.
Hi, God Mom. Thanks for watching on
That
today.
is
We
my
appreciate you.
God.
You have any tidbits you want to type in there talking about relationships and friendships on today? We are winding up, but we can definitely benefit from your wisdom. Angie was just talking about you earlier, and if you have any tidbits that you want to share with myself, my listeners, my guests on today, you can do that as well. As we wrap up today, what do you want to give as a takeaway? Angie and Jan, I don't know who wants to start first to maybe kind of summarize what we've been discussing already. There's maybe one thing that you want to share, and y'all not going to do that. Y'all not going to. I'll call y'all out like we in
I
class.
just on a cartoon.
That's hilarious. I love these ladies. I really do. I love them. But maybe a good takeaway for people on today when you're talking about relationships, when you're talking about friendships, whether it's something to help them guard against,
Mhm.
or maybe just summarizing something we've already mentioned earlier. Maybe something positive.
What I would say for a takeaway is one, value your time
Mhm.
in a friendship and or a relationship. The song says time is filled with swift transition. You must value your time. If you don't value your time, ultimately people will inevitably take advantage of your time, not respect you, which is something that I mentioned earlier. And you'll end up seeing your life crumble right before you because you didn't value the time that you've invested in a person, whether it's a friendship or relationship. The last thing that I could say is, when it comes to friendships and relationships, plural with an S, is know who you are.
Right.
You've got to know who you are. You need to know your purpose. If you don't know that, it can become quite cancerous. It can become quite toxic. And when you don't know your purpose and who you are as a person, you're really selling yourself short. You're wasting your time and you're wasting theirs.
Yeah, and
Love
I
it.
just want to say, as a takeaway, to make sure, first and foremost, make sure you pray.
Yeah.
Pray, use wisdom, use your discernment,
Mhm.
and first and foremost, in order to, you have to show yourself friendly. Make sure you're not the toxic person.
Woo.
And then then you become you victim, not victim blaming, but you're the toxic person, and then you trying to play victim is what I'm saying.
Mhm.
So yeah, because what does the Bible say? In order to be friends, you have to first show yourself friendly. But most importantly, above everything, just make sure you pray. And if you see something that's not right, or if you feel something, you're internalizing something that's not right, don't be afraid to cut it off. Because you come first. You
Mm.
definitely come first, because so many times we'll take stuff off of people, to try to keep peace, or to prevent not what's the word, confrontation,
Yeah. Yep.
and then we're going to
Yep.
sleep, heavy, and
Yes.
that person is not even thinking about it,
Yes.
so don't be afraid to cut
Snoring
off,
and
It's,
everything.
they're skipping through the
yeah,
tulips and you sitting over there
absolutely. Do
worrying.
not be afraid to cut folks off,
All right.
because they come a dime a dozen.
Whew, she said it. She said it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Godmom says she doesn't have any comments, but she enjoyed the show. She said, great show. We appreciate you, though, for even joining us on today. Crystal Jackson is watching. My
Oh.
goodness. We just talked about those Jackson girls, those Jackson ladies. Uh-oh, somebody made a comment. How do you pronounce that name?
Femi.
Femi. Okay, I didn't want to mispronounce it. Did you want to read it? Would you read it before we end?
Sure, I'll read it. He says, it's an important topic and your contributions have been really great. Life is all about relationships. It's what makes it worth living. Just that we really need to ensure we are in the right relationships. And as Angie said, we need to understand ourselves and purpose to define the relationships that are either good or toxic. Well done. Boom.
Is that London?
That's London.
Thank you so much for finally making a comment. I'm glad to read what you wrote. We appreciate that, and we take that in on today as well. Because I know Buddy commented earlier, but it's good to hear, both sides, male and female perspectives.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think sometimes when you talk about friendships and relationships, we immediately as women, we would jump in there. We'll
Yeah.
we'll say make our comments or whatever, but it's good to hear a
When you
male
hear from a
perspective.
man,
Yes.
I personally love
Yes.
that.
Because what? Why? Sometimes they don't talk,
They don't talk.
and you don't necessarily hear what's on their mind
Mhm.
unless they actually say it. What were we gonna say?
No, I was gonna say they talk. I think that sometimes we just talk too much. They talk,
Child.
but I see that all the time. I'll see a man about to say something, and the woman, she's just totally oblivious. She's not cognizant of her atmosphere, and she being girl. And I thought, and he'd be like, "Don't worry about it. Never mind."
Right. Well, you can say something. Nah, I'm good.
Yep.
She said it. Yeah. We do talk a lot.
Yeah.
Let's see. You guys, I just want to thank you. On today, my guests. And again, I started the show off saying about how I had to revamp today's show, like whole totally different program, subject, and everything. And I called my two friends, and they are here on today, engaging in this friendship and relationship conversation. And again, I want to thank you, ladies, both for taking this time out today, for driving to Timbuktu, as somebody said before.
No problem. How
And
much you buying us for lunch?
I know.
Where we going to eat?
Yeah, let me wrap up my show here. And I got my producer
Lunch is
laughing.
on there and that today.
But yeah, I thank you guys because you
Of
didn't have to
course,
say
no
yes.
problem.
I don't know if you heard the angst in my voice or not, but I thank you for coming to my rescue on today. It was a great topic,
Yeah.
Yeah.
great engaging on the Facebook Live and here on
Mhm.
Today Live. So I think it was a great choice. It was a great choice. It's always something that could be continued if
Yeah.
need be. There's so much more we could say on this.
It's part of life.
It is. It is. And I like what your friend, what London said, and it's what make um it's what make worth living.
It's what
It's
makes
what
it.
makes it worth living.
Mhm.
I don't know. I think I'm probably tired of
No,
wrapping up. Huh?
but it's true. It
But
is.
it is true.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's
I
part
I
of life.
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is cool stuff here. I want to thank you guys for listening and throwing in your comments on Facebook Live, on YouTube, listening on the station's website on today, engaging with us, giving us your thoughts and your opinions, all the comments that came in the other groups. I didn't even get to the other group that had all those comments on there. So
know.
it was an
Oprah.
awful lot. It was an
Oprah
awful
has a
lot.
lot. Oprah has a lot of followers, and we apologize on behalf of Oprah. I apologize for her not being able to get to your comments. Definitely feel free to email your inquiries, your questions, your remarks. And her assistant, Stedman, will try to get to you as soon as possible. However, we love that you are able to comment right here on the Mind, Body, and Soul radio show.
I
You know,
cannot with her today.
on the own network of intellectual radio.
The own that. There you go. And she wrapped it up. You guys join us next week. I will have Evangelist Sharita Webster will be on, and she has a powerful, awesome testimony. You do not want to miss her. The Lord is expanding her territory, and she is telling her story. She's being transparent about things that she's had to deal with, from suicide to bad relationships.
See?
Yeah, definitely. And she's going to come on and share, and you do not want to miss it. And then the following week, of course, we'll be back on the fourth Wednesday with Dr. Shirley Hill, Mo Faith, Nutritional Services, our health and wellness segment. And we benefit so much from listening to her last month, rather. She celebrated you and your successes. And I've been seeing the different posts of individuals who have started making changes, whether it's what you eat or what you ingest or listening to Dr. Hill. So we appreciate her. And then the last Wednesday of the month, we have 5 Wednesdays this month, we will feature Dr. Karen McGee. She is the wife of Elder Kevin McGee, who has a show here on Saturdays entitled Connections at 12 noon. He normally pens a spoken word for us. We did not have one on today, only because he is actually funeralizing his bishop. And we will give a shout out in prayer to the Sanders family and the loss of Bishop Robert Sanders. So that's why we did not have a spoken word on today. So we excused Elder McGee on this week, but we do appreciate him for supplying us with our spoken word. But again, his wife, Dr. Karen McGee, has a book out called Power Words. So we're going to feature her on the last Wednesday of this month. So stick with Mind, Body, and Soul. Don't go anywhere. We have, just as an FYI, I know we have rescheduled our chef. We had an emergency on the time that he was supposed to come in. So he'll be back, or he'll be with us in August. So don't go anywhere for that. Buddy Gill says, I was in and out throughout the day. It was a great show. He was so glad to see Angie and Janice, my friends.
buddy,
What about me, buddy?
buddy?
No, I'm just kidding. No, but
My buddy.
right, they're singing your praises, buddy. But again, thank you guys. Remember to follow us. We'll have our promos out, and we'll remind you of who we have coming up. So until next week, or until next time, I want you to soar and get caught up with Annette. Where's my outro? You don't have my outro?
No, we don't. It's Friday.
I love you too, buddy. I see ya.
Feed your brain.
Got the coordinates. It's about that time.
Intellectualradio.com. Feed your brain.
You fell
don't
asleep.
feel good.
You fell asleep. Where my outro at, man?
Get caught in a net with